Most people believe their biggest financial problem is simple. They don't make enough money. It sounds true. Until you meet someone making $300,000 a year who's drowning in debt, or someone earning $60,000 who quietly becomes a millionaire. Same economy, same opportunities, completely different outcome. So what separates them? It isn't luck, it isn't intelligence, and it definitely isn't the size of their paycheck. There's one thing more valuable than money. Most people spend their entire lives chasing dollars while completely ignoring the one thing that actually creates wealth. And once you understand what it is, you'll never think about money the same way again. A few years ago, a financial advisor was asked a simple question: who was your wealthiest client? Most people expected him to name a celebrity, a CEO, a tech founder. Instead, he smiled, and he said, "The wealthiest client I ever had drove a 10-year-old pickup truck." That answer confused everyone. Because we live in a world where wealth is supposed to look expensive. Big houses, luxury cars, designer watches, first-class flights. Social media has convinced us that if someone looks rich, they probably are. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Looking wealthy and being wealthy are often two completely different things. And that's where most people lose the game before they even realize they're playing. Think about the last time someone got a raise. What usually happens: a nicer apartment, a newer phone, a better car, more vacations. None of those things are bad. The problem is, most people upgrade their lifestyle before they upgrade their future. Every extra dollar already has a destination. So even though income goes up, their financial life stays exactly the same. Have you ever wondered why someone making twice your salary still complains about money? Because expenses have a strange habit. They grow to match income, sometimes even faster. That's why chasing a bigger paycheck feels like running on a treadmill. You're moving, you're working harder, you're exhausted, but somehow, you're still in the same place. Now here's something most people never notice. The people who quietly become wealthy don't make every financial decision by asking, "Can I afford this?" They ask a completely different question: what will this decision cost me 5 years from now? That one question changes everything, because every dollar you spend has two prices. The first is what you pay today. The second is what that dollar could have become if you had invested it instead. Most people only see the first price. Wealthy people see both. And that's why they make decisions that seem strange to everyone else. A friend once told me something I'll never forget. He had just received the biggest bonus of his career. Everyone expected him to celebrate, buy a luxury car, upgrade his house, take an expensive vacation. Instead, he bought absolutely nothing. Months later, someone finally asked him, "Why didn't you enjoy your money?" He laughed. "I did. I bought something much bigger." Everyone looked confused. He pointed to a small investment account on his laptop. "Every dollar I put here buys me freedom later." That sentence stuck with me, because most people think spending money is enjoying money. But sometimes the greatest luxury is buying yourself options. The option to leave a job you hate. The option to spend more time with family. The option to say no. Freedom rarely arrives all at once. It shows up one smart decision at a time. So if more money isn't the answer, what is? Why do some people build wealth almost effortlessly, while others spend decades chasing it without ever feeling secure? The answer isn't hidden in a stock market secret or a business trick, or some investment that promises impossible returns. It's something much simpler. And once you see it, you'll realize you've been looking in the wrong direction all along. So, what is it? What is the one thing that's more valuable than money? It's not a secret investment. It's not a side hustle. It's not a six-figure salary. It's ownership. Ownership is what separates people who work for money from people who slowly make money work for them. Think about it. Every morning, millions of people wake up and trade their time for a paycheck. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, almost everyone starts there. But the people who eventually build real wealth ask themselves one question: how do I own something that keeps creating value even when I'm not working? That could be a business, a portfolio of investments, real estate, a book, digital products, a YouTube channel, a skill that people will always pay for, because income pays your bills, ownership builds your future. Here's the mistake that traps most people. They spend years trying to increase their income, but almost no time increasing what they own. The moment they earn more, they spend more. The cycle repeats again and again. Without realizing it, they've built an expensive lifestyle instead of a valuable life. Wealth isn't about having the newest car. It's about having the freedom to choose how you spend your time. And freedom comes from assets, not appearances. There's an old saying that perfectly explains this. Poor people spend first and save what's left. Wealthy people invest first and spend what's left. At first, that sounds like a tiny difference. But over 10, 20, or 30 years, that small decision becomes enormous. Because money follows one simple rule. What you feed grows. Feed your lifestyle, your expenses grow. Feed your investments, your future grows. Every paycheck is a vote. You're deciding where your future is going. Most people don't realize they're casting that vote every single month. Now let me ask you something. If someone handed you $1 million today, would you stay wealthy forever? Be honest. Most people wouldn't. Not because they're lazy, not because they aren't smart, because no amount of money can replace good decisions. Without the habits to manage wealth, money disappears. That's why lottery winners lose fortunes. That's why professional athletes have gone bankrupt. That's why people with huge incomes still live under constant financial pressure. Money only magnifies the habits you already have. If your habits are weak, more money makes the mistakes bigger. If your habits are strong, even a small amount of money has room to grow. That's the difference. So the next time you catch yourself saying, "I just need to make more money," pause. Ask yourself a different question. If my income doubled tomorrow, would my decisions change? Or would I simply spend twice as much? That question is uncomfortable, but it might be the most important financial question you'll ever answer. Because wealth isn't built the day you earn more. It's built the day your decisions become better than your income. That's the moment everything begins to change. So, you don't need more money. At least not first. You need better decisions. You need ownership. You need patience. You need the discipline to think years ahead instead of just until the next paycheck. Because money is only a tool. In the wrong hands, it disappears. In the right hands, it creates freedom. And that's why two people can earn the exact same amount, yet end up living completely different lives. One keeps chasing money forever. The other quietly builds a life where money starts chasing them. The difference was never the paycheck. It was what they chose to build before the paycheck got bigger. And that's the lesson most people never learn, until it's too late. If you can learn it today, your financial future won't be determined by how much you earn. It'll be determined by what you do with every dollar that comes into your life. Because in the end, you don't need more money, you need something far more valuable. You need the ability to turn money into freedom. In the next video, we're going to talk about the biggest financial mistake that looks completely harmless yet quietly steals years of wealth from millions of people. And once you see it, you'll start noticing it everywhere.